Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So on my blog, I share how I made my fortune in real estate, starting in 19. It's been a long time ago. It's been almost 40 years now. Anyways, I thought I'd just kind of catch up, talk about some of the latest deals I've been doing. One of the last couple videos I put out, I showed a house that I put under contract for 270. Then I got it renegotiated quickly back down to 250. I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to walk you through. I brought a crew there today. We were going to scrape the ceilings. We were going to just kind of do all the demo that I do when I first start a home for flipping or for rehabbing in general. And I got, they had some problems with the title. There's a trust. There's some sort of a lien. I already got a dumpster sitting in the backyard of this thing. We're ready to go. Anyways, fortunately, I have several houses that I'm in the midst of remodeling and renovating in different stages. So I pulled the crew off there, but I was a little disappointed. I want to start on that and start sharing it with you and videoing with you. We'll talk about that, and I'll show you a contract. I just sold one for $1,700,000. And we can talk a little bit about contracts. Anybody's got any questions, you just go ahead and ask. If you got something going, you got a contract, I don't care if it's land, buildings, apartments, I've done it all. And I'm happy to share what I know. So give me just 1 second, and we'll just get started. All right. So let's look at this. I'll just to start. We can look at anything you guys want. We can go to we can go look at another video if you guys want. I had a great video I just released today. This is really a neat one. In fact, I had to show you that one. We could talk about that. Eric is one of my students in my mentorship. Some of you know I already have a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been very popular on Amazon and Kindle. That's led to a mentorship, and I've got guys that are making some real money. You can see these guys right up here. Ron and Liam, they've just knocking it out of the park. I actually was texting with Liam earlier today. I hadn't heard from Ron in a while, but by his own estimation, he's made more than $200,000 or $300,000. So that's really great for Liam. But really excited about my latest guy that just awesome, young guy. And let me see. We'll just go to that for a sec because it's just so cool. It's just so cool. Get that going. I'm getting this going separately. You guys can't see it yet. But about contracts, anybody's got any questions, you just go ahead and ask. If you got something going, you got a contract, I don't care if it's land, buildings, apartments. I've Bear with me a second. And I'm happy to share what I know. So give me just 1 second. And okay, let's go here. So Eric is a young guy. He's been watching my channel for about 3 years. He bought the book. Hey, Anne-Marie, glad you're here. Hey, Ron. Casino coin, bro. Not sure. Yeah, I don't care much for crypto. I know too many people that lost their ass in it. I don't like, cryptocurrency. I mean, it seems like it's coming around to some degree, but geez, how do you base what it's worth, man? I like tangible assets. I don't like air, or digital money. It's fluctuated way too much. So, I was calling it shitcoin before everybody, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's really not been good to many people that I know. I know it goes up, goes down, depends on when you buy. I guess you might get a piece of it, but certainly not my topic. And I wouldn't recommend anybody get into anything that they don't know. And that's why what I tell you to about real estate is you learn it. You learn the subject. You got to know value. As long as you know value, you can walk in and you can make a great decision really quick because you're prepared, because you know what you're looking at. And probably, people say, what kind of superpower do you have? Well, my superpower is really just I know value. I know value, and that's it. I'm prepared. And anybody can have that superpower, right? Anybody. You just have to take the time to educate yourself. Anyways, let me pop over here, and I'm going to show you this latest video. Hey, Tom here. I hate that this thing auto starts. But anyhow, I want you to see Eric here. And look, you guys probably already saw part of this, but I want to watch it with you because it's just so damn cool. And then we can look at something else. Anybody got any questions? I mean, you see the crypto stuff. I don't care about crypto. I'm a real estate guy. Copy Josh. He's acquired so far. What? Copy Joshua. Did Eric do any improvements or just flip? Let's get over here to where Eric is. So this is Eric. Really, just smart, thoughtful guy. And, and you know what? This is if you're in that sweet spot, if you're in that age between 25 and 45, that's a really sweet spot. Okay. Those are like the most productive years you're going to have. You're young, you're strong, you're energetic. You start to wake up, like I say, wake up and smell the real estate. You start to wake up and realize, oh shit, I need to make some money. I got to have some vehicle in place to take care of me when I get old, and believe me, when I go to fight, I fight at city council meetings and for rezoning, and sometimes I fight for lowering my taxes, and that's what I tell these guys. I say, listen, I don't have a 401k. I don't have a government, package waiting for me to take care of me. All I've got is the assets that I accumulate over my lifetime to take care of me for the rest of my life. And that's how most of us are that are entrepreneurs. Hey, Francesco, glad you're here. And from Italy, that's awesome. But, the main thing is anybody can make a lot of money. But nobody's going to hand it to you. A lot of people have this fantasy somebody's going to take you under their wing and say, here, buy that, here, buy it. It doesn't work that way. That's a joke, okay? It's not going to happen. I mean, I don't even like doing that for my kids, and I could do that for my kids, but I'm not going to, you got to earn it. You got to have some sweat in the game, and if you don't want to put any sweat in the game, that's fine, But you're not going to get something you don't deserve. You're going to earn it. You're going to earn it if you're going to earn it. And but I love it. I love it. So guys like Eric here and Liam and Ron and others and Ellie and Anne Marie, she's in here watching. She's taking the class. Of course, she's still, it's a 1-year deal, but it's a 1-month crash course. But they're invested. They're invested. They got some skin in the game. And believe me, if you don't have some skin in the game, then you're defeating yourself. You got to incentivize yourself too, to some degree. So let's watch this video. Just watch my video together. If you guys want to watch, we'll jump over to Ben Mallah. I saw something over there look kind of interesting to me. But let's take a look.
It's great to be able to share this video with you. I just want to thank you for your help. And last week, I closed this deal, a huge deal that I had been working on, and it was great to be able to reach out to you. Your mentorship has been great, man. Having the calculators in there, the members forum, access to you by phone for critical support. It was just great to know that, I had you in my corner.
So a lot of people don't know that right off the bat, but when you get into my mentorship, you're kind of spoon fed a week's worth of you get a course, a class, and then a bunch of Q&A. I mean, it's all super valuable stuff, just great information. Some of the people that have already been in this here can speak to it that are in the chat, but the critical support, right? The critical support. I was worried I was going to get too many crazy questions. My phone was going to light up, but that's not what happened. Is everybody gets so educated that they start to look at real estate through my eyes. And so the questions are great. The questions that come up are super legit. And I love helping people make those decisions and help them walking through it. And that's what I did with Eric. And like he was talking about the critical support, I was there for him. Hey, that's what I'm here for. Our success is shared, right? You make money, you make me look good. And that's all I'm interested in right now that would be my legacy, just to make as many millionaires as I possibly can, or even short of that. It doesn't matter. Hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, whatever makes you happy. You can really invest a lot, or you can, of time, or you can even just do it part-time and just to make a world of change in your life. So let's keep watching.
With your track record and your success and your results over the past decades, it's just undeniable that you've obtained the knowledge that I needed. So I didn't even think twice about it. I've been following you off and on for the past 3 years. And then you get lost in the YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook guru world, and you get so confused, you get information overload. So it's a long journey in real estate, and to have you at this pivotal point in.
And so that's something else really don't think about it because I don't get lost in all this guru bullshit. But like he said, there's so much snake oil in Facebook and all the stuff, the social media, and he said information overload. So I understand, and it is hard to trust. And all I can tell you is you have to do your due diligence. Okay, you have to examine. Listen, if you're going to hire somebody to do some carpentry on your place or paint your home or somebody going to let inside your home, even a mover to move your furniture, you check credentials, right? You got to check credentials. And anybody can say that they've made tons of money and that they can show you how. But can they demonstrate that they've done it? Can they walk you through tens of millions of dollars of real estate? Or somebody's going to tell you they can get you in great shape. Well, I mean, if they're not in very good shape, you might want to question it, right? I mean, you gotta see the warning signs, the flags that would give you concern as to whether or not somebody knows what they're talking about. And look, my dad was a kind, gentle, gullible guy, and him and my stepmother, they got ripped off for $20,000, and that was about 40 years ago. It was very upsetting to him. It was a big piece of their life savings at the time, and I to this day, it was called Encino Elite Car Wash. Anybody that knows anybody that ever started that, called Encino Elite, you let me know who those guys are. I'd love some names. I don't care if it's 20 years ago. I'll go find them. Encino Elite, okay? They took my folks for $20,000. That was in California. Anyway, don't want to get off subject. But there's a lot of snake oil. There's a lot of thieves. And, and they can steal from you legally. You know what I mean? These seminars, they put seminars together. Hey, come on down to the seminar. And you go down there, and you are the money. You are the money. They're looking for you. They want to tap your credit cards and you're the money, right? They know that you're interested in investing in real estate. That's what qualifies you to come to the free seminar. If you're thinking about buying real estate, that implies that you have tens of thousands of dollars. You have money to spend on real estate. They want to part you with your money. They want to take it from you. So anyhow, really, really interesting. So look, and if there's any gurus or anybody you want to go look at, we'll jump over and take a look. I just got my deal signed, and so I'm just kind of chilling and relaxing here. But here, let's listen to Eric a little bit more.
My journey was just awesome because you provided the mentorship at the exact time that I needed it. When I came on a great deal, and I didn't know, I had some holes that I needed to fill in, some questions that it could have taken me hours to find, and I still didn't trust the information because, you have to get it from the internet, and the internet's not always the best source.
It's the worst times.
Everything. So it's great to be able to be in your mentorship. Excuse me, I'm just finished exercising a little bit, and it's hot out here, but it's a beautiful morning, and just want to share with you and your group. And even if you put this video out on the internet or so, anybody's thinking about his mentorship, and you want to take you're working on a deal, or you want to take your investing path seriously, just get with Tom.
Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed that. So, yeah, that was really a great testimonial. I'd actually interviewed him before that, but, that was just 2 minutes of him just speaking into it, and he just did it on his own. I thought that was really awesome, and I really appreciate that. But anyways, everybody, has certain goals, and like I say, it's just so unfortunate that there is information overload out there. I understand that. And so all I can do is, demonstrate what I know and what I've done. So look, anyhow, we look at some questions here. Move back over here and I'll check something else out. All right. So let's see. Ron, love your book, Tom. Question, found a lot of land to build a single-family home on and resell. I will be financing the lot and to build into the one loan. How would I approach the landowner to sell? Well, listen, Ron, that's kind of how I started. When I started getting into land, I started looking at land, and I built 3 houses. Okay, I built 3 houses. It cost me about $100. I'd build a home I mean, it didn't even cost me probably $120,000. That was for the lot and the home. And I was making $70,000. I'd get a house built, 1,700 square foot house. I'd get it built in like 90 days, and I'd make like 70 grand. I might even give 10 grand to it. I was kind of having somebody help me and kind of run the jobs a little more, because I did what I do best, which is make money in real estate. So I kept buying up land. Well, after after building and selling 3 homes, and it wasn't that much trouble, but over a year's time, I built and sold 3 homes, made about $210,000, pretty darn good. I was in my early 20s, and it was like, you know what? But I'd accumulated probably 30 lots by that time, and it was like, I'm killing it on these lots. I'm buying these lots for $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000. People were holding out for $25,000 for some, but I bought everything that was cheaper than that. And then after I bought everything that was cheaper than that, I kind of had a monopoly on the market, because I owned all the available good stuff that was around. And then I raised the price. I put all my houses, or all my lots up for like $30,000, $40,000. And then everybody that was asking for $20,000, $25,000 that I thought it was too much, they were thrilled. But all of a sudden theirs looked really good, and theirs got bought. But now that set the standard that everything was worth $25,000 now, because all that stuff was gone. And then I put my properties back on the market, and I started selling them all for like $20,000 to $30,000, $35,000. And I don't think I paid more than $10,000 or $12,000, maybe $15,000 for the most expensive lot. But if I spent $15,000, you can bet I sold it for $35,000. And I created a bunch of monthly income. I put a lot of cash in my pocket. And I thought, you know what? Why do I want to buy a job? Building a home was like buying a job. And I say the same thing about fixer-uppers. A lot of you get involved. Hey, fixer-uppers are great. Listen, if you can buy something fixed up already, or something that's in decent shape, I love this. This is a great scenario, and I bought a lot of homes like this. I'll buy homes from people that are like 60, 70. They're going to build their dream home somewhere. They're going to move on. They're going somewhere. They're done work, and the kids are, they're empty nesters. They're moving on. So I'll buy their home. Well, they updated it 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and they take care of it because they're owner occupiers. And so it's wonderful. I'll buy it under market. I don't have to do a thing to it. So I'm not in love with fixer-uppers. And, of course, I've done many on this show. You can look at my old videos. I got tons of stuff. I've done some major fixer-uppers. Listen, it takes time. Every month that goes by, the economy might be going down, or it might be going up if you're lucky. But it's costing you money. You're not renting that property, and you're probably, if you're borrowing money, or even if you own it, I considered my cash. I expect a return on my cash. So at the same time, I'm not getting a return on that money. So it's expensive to sit there and remodel. Okay, just sitting there, it's expensive. And then when you add in everything that you spend and stuff, and then there's people get sick, and you're waiting on people, and one sub can interfere with another getting their job done. So the bottom line is, a fixer-upper is buying a job. And I'm not discouraging it, but you can buy, let's say you got a property that, that when it's fixed up really nice, it'll be worth $360,000, okay? Now, and I got one like that right now that I just bought for $250,000. Well, I can put $30,000 in it, and maybe I'll get that $360,000, so I'll make $70,000. But really, I'm not opposed to just selling it as is and making $50,000, right? And that is the mentality that I like people to get into. I like everybody that follows me or been in my mentorship. If you read my book, I just try to get you to look at real estate through my eyes. I've been really good at it, right? You'll look at it, and you just look at it. It's all dollars and cents. It's all numbers. You know what? When you buy a fixer-upper, it shouldn't be that you have to fix it up to make money. It should be, you should be able to sell it as a fixer-upper, right? In other words, you can sell it to somebody else and make money, and then they can fix it up, and they can make money. Let them buy the job. Don't you buy the job. Let them buy the job. Very, very important on that. So let's see what else we got here. I don't want to miss anybody here. Ron, love the book. Appreciate that. Ron, take my offer seriously. I have your contract ready in my hand, but worry that won't be enough. Ron, I do not know what you're referring to. I apologize. Maybe you wrote me and I don't know it. Matt Telkin, Graham makes the vast majority of his money from, Matt. Graham is a terrible investor. I mean, look, he started out, he bought a couple houses at a reasonable price when he was younger. He's already young. But after that, and I did a nice video. Take a look at the video I did on Graham Stephan's portfolio. Mr. wonderful, gave it a D minus, and so did I. It was just a terrible return. He's got 3.5% at best coming in on his, on millions of dollars, which is really a tragedy. But Matt Telkin, he made something like $3 million in the last year from YouTube. I know. Yeah, no, they're killing it. Listen, meet Kevin and Graham Stephan. I mean, those guys are YouTube wonders. You know what? They basically chase trends, right? They're talking about stimulus. They're probably talking about Pelosi and Trump, and they talk about the crash, but they get paid just talking about stuff. Okay, and now when they extrapolate that, I know they invest their money into real estate, but they don't know really much at all about real estate. As a realtor, yeah, they're probably good, competent realtors, and if you wanted to buy a home, they could, fill you with information that's good to know. But as far as investors go, I don't think either one of them are any good. Let's see, Max Mike. Tom has 30 years of experience. I actually got 40. Hard to believe, guys. I've been doing this for 40 years. I'll be in another few months. It'll be 40 years officially, I guess. Cyber Samurai. Graham's YouTube revenue can flow into an LLC. I'm sure it is an LLC, or some sort of. I mean, it'd be smart to keep it separate. So to take advantage of the corporate tax bracket, it's the smart thing to do. I don't know what you're referring to. Anyways. Yeah, corporate taxes are lower. Thank God for Trump. Trump brought our corporate taxes down. I want to give credit where credit's due. How do you find the value of land? Well, start by getting my book, but the short answer is you do a self-appraisal. In other words, you look at everything that's around your property. You look at stuff that's of like kind, just like an appraiser, and you see what's sold. And you'll make upward and downward adjustments. And so what that means is, if you have a property, let's say you can buy a piece of land for $30,000. Well, you might find one that's a 2.5 acre that sold for 45, or you might find a half acre that sold for 30. And because just because a property is twice the size doesn't really mean it's worth twice as much. In fact, the general rule that I go by is when you get into an area where there's lots, a lot that's twice as big as another is usually only worth 1.5 times more. You just get a little bit more. You get 50% more, not 100% more for twice. You get 50% more. That's just a rough rule. And I've flipped a lot of land, so this is just my experience. Doesn't mean it's an absolute. But you could also give you an example. Like, look at this rectangle that you see me in right here. Okay, there's zoning that might allow. Let's just say this square, this rectangle that you see me in on this screen. Let's say that the zoning allows for one house per 10,000 square feet. And this square, this rectangle, is 20,000 square feet. Okay? So as soon as it hits that 20,000 square feet, this piece of land that this represents here is worth more because I can split it and I can turn it into 2 lots. Now, if it's only 15,000 square feet or 19,000 square feet, it's not worth as much because I can still only build one home on this piece of land. I got to hit 20 because the minimum requirement is 10,000 square foot per structure. Hey, by the way, please subscribe and like my videos. I appreciate it. I do this stuff. I enjoy it, but I'm real lazy about motivating people to smash the like button and help the algorithm. So please help me out on that. What's your take? Look, Lionel. If it's Lionel, my take on fourplexes, it doesn't matter. Listen, get my book. My book's $10, and what you'll learn right away is that there is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Okay, it doesn't have to be a duplex, a fourplex, a triplex, a sixplex. I remember my grandfather. My grandfather's probably one of the worst businessmen there was, and very bitter. He had a job when he was early on. It was packing ice into. He worked at ice plants. He used to have ice plants along the railroad, and they would pack the railroad carts with ice to keep the veggies fresh. Well, of course, refrigeration came along and blew him right out of business. And he's been a negative guy ever since. He's long dead now, but I remember him telling me, I was buying property, and I was just going crazy making money when I was young, 20s, and he said, I never buy triplexes. You lose money on triplexes. And I go, well, why? And it's because he lost money on triplexes, and he probably just paid too much. And I go, no, I mean, this one's a duplex, and the other one's a fourplex. He goes, oh, yeah, well, those are okay. Yeah, it's just silly. But the bottom line is you can overpay for anything and everything. You can overpay for a triplex, a fourplex, a duplex. It doesn't matter. If you overpay, you ruined it, okay? And that's why I tell you to be so careful with your money. Your money's your seed capital. If you're not careful with it, I mean, you're just really being reckless. You got to respect money. And so many people just hand it to people. Like, here, Grant Cardone, here, Chris Crone. You know what? It's nuts. Take responsibility for your own money. Don't hand it to somebody. Take responsibility. You'll be a better steward of your money than anybody. Believe me. I mean, I hire professionals for different things. Nobody makes those decisions but me. I listen. I take feedback. I'll take constructive criticism, but I take responsibility for my decisions. And I look in. I understand what's going on before I make a decision. And if you don't do that, it's just silly. I mean, maybe if you just got some, whiz kid in your family that makes money in stock and it's your brother, maybe he'll do it for you. But in general, it's just not going to happen. People are looking to take your money from you. That's what they're there. They're there to take it from you. I don't care if it's a seminar, free seminar. That's a bunch of bullshit. You should know that by now. Free seminar is free to walk in and try to hang on to your wallet if you can, because they're going to grab it. Yeah, well, listen. Okay, Matt says some people are not smart enough to handle their own money. No, I disagree. Everybody is smart enough to handle their own money. It's just math, right? I mean, it's not hard to figure out. If you hand somebody 10 and now it's worth 5, okay, that's a hard lesson, okay? You just have to take responsibility for it. And I understand some people are just so afraid that some would rather hand their money to somebody, because if that person they hand the money to loses the money, they don't have to say they failed. Now, I didn't fail. He failed. I trusted him. He failed. But you're the one out the money. It's really a stupid way of thinking, and a lot of people do. And I appreciate it. It's but I understand what you're saying. It's amazing to me that no one seems to have confidence to manage their own finance. Yeah, Syrian, I don't know why that is. I remember I had a young guy a long time ago work for me, and he was telling me he owed $1,200 on his credit cards, and he had $1,200 in savings. And I go, what are you paying on your credit card? And he's paying like 22, 24%. This is like 35 years ago. And I go, pay your credit card off. He goes, oh, no, that's my savings. I go, dude, you're not going to get 22% interest on your savings, but you will if you pay off your credit card, and then just have the discipline to start saving money and again. But you got to understand numbers, Interest never sleeps, okay? It'll just eat your lunch, if you have a loan and you don't pay on it, I'm telling you, you're paying interest. You want to get rid of it. You want to be the guy that is collecting interest. You buy your property, you resell it, you carry a second or you carry a first, and now you receive the interest. Believe me, it's wonderful. I sleep very well at night because people owe me money, okay? And I sleep very well at night because people are living in my rentals or they have businesses in my rentals. I own more business rentals by far than I do residential rentals. But I started with residential in the beginning. And I've owned duplexes and fourplexes and singles and triplexes and, all the different stuff in multiple, multifamily apartments. I've made millions of dollars on apartment buildings. Look at some of my videos on apartment buildings. Listen, you can make money on anything, so don't think for a second you cannot. Very important, though, but you got to get started. You got to start educating yourself. Look, my book right there, this is $10 on Kindle. If you don't have it, get it. Just get it. I don't know what to tell you. If you can't invest $10 in your future, you're probably paralyzed with fear anyways, and you're never going to go anywhere anyways. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true. You got to get your foot, get your toe in the water, right? The other thing is look, I've already made hundreds of videos, and guys like Ben Mallah too. When I hear Ben Mallah talking, I hear myself talking. It's the same good information. It's somebody that's lived it. We've lived it. Now, and I think my information is probably the most relevant to most people out there because my average deals are from $5,000 to $2 million, right? So I was buying $5,000 and $100,000 deals 40 years ago, and I still will buy that stuff today if it comes across my plate. But in other words, I'm not in the stratosphere. I'm not buying, like Manny Koshman, who I have respect for. But I mean, he'll spend $14 million, and he actually puts, I believe he actually puts syndicates together too, to some degree, some sort of partnerships. But yeah, Stack, good. Order it. Listen, look, Stack Q is ordering. Everybody else order. If you're gonna get ripped off by me for $10, okay? It'll be the best $10 you've ever been ripped off for, if you want to call it that. You're gonna learn a lot. I got 40 years of my life in that thing, and really it's only 3.5 hours because it is that simple. Let's see. How was the WFH? I don't know what that means. You're gonna have to listen. I don't know what that is. WFH, trend affected your real estate investment strategy. Imagine people are spreading further. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what WFH is. I don't know what you're referring to. Carlos, what do you recommend, Tom? Joining the Marines? Or do real estate? Look, Carlos, I would choose real estate. Listen, I couldn't stand to be in high school, okay? I'm not telling you what to do, and I don't like giving anybody advice on somebody's asking me, should I go to college or not? I'm not going to tell anybody not to go to college. I never went to college, and it hadn't hurt me a bit, but I'm not going to certainly advise anybody to do anything else. Look, I make money buying and selling real estate. You can make money buying and selling things. As long as you buy things under market, you get rich. I mean, there's so many millionaires that just simply buy and sell used things. But the key is buying stuff for less than what you can resell it to somebody else for. Okay, you can apply that to anything and everything. And by the way, I have an app, FlipAnything app. You can get it free on the iPhone. It's for iPhone. For some reason, it disappeared off Android. But go get my app. It's free. Okay, it really is free. And, I've made hundreds of videos. Those are free. You can just listen to my videos like an audiobook. And by the way, I have an audiobook too, which I recommend. People love it. You can check on the testimonials of people that have to say about my book and my and my mentorship, by the way. Go to my mentorship, FlipAnythingUSA.com/mentorship, or just go to there and you'll find it. Anyways, let's keep looking. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Delta, glad you're here. So Delta here, he's 15 years old. He's got my book. We gave it to him free. God, do I ship to Bulgaria? Yeah. Just order Kindle. We'll send it to you digitally. You can get the book on Kindle. Let's see. My turn. Long Island real estate is expensive. That's why I buy in PA. It doesn't matter. Listen, I'm telling you, you can make a ton of money right there in New Jersey. It doesn't matter. I know people live in Ronkonkoma in different areas. Listen, you just buy it relative to your market. You buy it for less than what it's worth. That's your hedge, okay? You buy it for less than it's worth. And listen, people buy for disease, they get sick, divorce, depression, they lose their business. There's a whole, they die. There's all kinds of reasons that opportunities come up. And guess what? Those same things that bring opportunities reoccur every year in every city, okay? In every state. There's, I don't even know how many there is exactly in the whole USA, but I'm going to guess there's roughly 50,000 cities, probably at least. So there's everybody has an opportunity. I don't care where you are, where you're sitting right now. As long as you know what value is and you get in between what somebody has and what somebody wants, and you're right here in the middle, getting in between them, you got it tied up for less. Somebody else is going to give you money to get out of the way. Look at my videos on assignments. I made tons of money on assignments. It's a fantastic way. It takes no money out of your pocket. Maybe a few $100s to tie something up. Oh, man, it's a great way to go, especially if you don't have any money. Okay, Carlos, I get your point on buying and selling, but now it's 2020, and it's hard. There's a lot of real estate agents, investors, etc. No. Listen, I wasn't investing in the 60s, Carlos. That's funny. Look, I bet all with you. Look, it doesn't matter. For the reasons I just told you, I don't care. Listen, there's tons of agents back then, too, and they were worthless then, and there's tons of them that are worthless now. There's some that are really sharp. It doesn't matter. Listen, the ratios are the same. There's guys that are sharp. There's guys that are dumb. There's people that are bright. There's people that are dumb. I mean, it's just how it is. But even somebody dumb can make a fortune as long as they have common sense. Okay, and I hate to say words like dumb. I'm going to be politically correct to a degree here. I don't like calling anybody dumb. But look, you know what? I'm not highly educated, but I'm super street smart when it comes to real estate, okay? I have basic math skills, and that's what all that really matters is you understand that you got to sell it for more than you're paying for it. And that's your rules, and you stick with that, and you'll do super, super well. So please smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel. Let's keep looking. Okay, Gemini, what are you kidding about? Concept of buy low and sell high seems so foreign to me. No, but that's how it is. You buy things you don't buy it unless you can make money on it, right? I mean, just look at every store there is, okay? Just look at every merchant there is in your town. Look at anything. I don't care what they sell. What do they do? What do they all have in common? Everything they sell, they bought for less the month before. Everything that they sell, they bought for less, okay? Apply the same logic to real estate. It's super, super simple. It's basic, okay? It's basic. Let's see. Delta asked, do people take an 18 or 19-year-olds? Yeah, they do. Let me tell you, I bought my first property at 19 years old, okay? And I never even met the sellers, okay? Folks, get my book. Delta, you got my book. You know my story. Delta, you know my story. Why are you even asking that? The way listen, that's one of the best things about real estate. As long as if you're working through an agent or you're sending a letter or you're contacting however you make your contact, nobody has to know your age. I mean, I had long hair down to my shoulders. I had bloodshot eyes because I had horrible allergies. Everybody assumed I was high. They thought I smoked pot. That was the optics, okay? Long hair, bloodshot eyes. But the reality was I just 19 years old with allergies, okay? But I could overcome all that. Not that was that big a deal. When I wrote an offer on a property, I said, I got the money. I'll close this thing in 6 months. And they agreed. They didn't know. The agent didn't tell them that, this guy's got long hair and he's got bloodshot eyes. No, he wants to make a deal. He knew that I could make the deal. I needed 6 months because I didn't have the money, but he knew I could make the deal. And that was Robert Dennis, which Robert Dennis, if you're still out there, I really do appreciate you. Me and him, we got crossed later on over a little bit on a deal, but we actually ended up being a partner on something else. But Robert Dennis, thank God I ran into you because you helped me make my first deal and open my eyes up to owner financing. And I can tell you, I can give a nod to a lot of people out there. Hank Booker, one of the things he always told me is, Tommy, he said, you can never get hurt taking a profit. Fantastic advice. And John Brooks, can't forget John Brooks. He's the one. John Brooks is somebody, he was my first assignment, right? I got a deal, I got a building for, I had it tied up where I could buy it for, I think, $170,000. And I knew it was worth $220, at least $220. And so I didn't have any money. I'd already bought my first building, but I didn't have that kind of money. And so who do I call? I call my old boss, right? Everybody knows your boss has money. He's the one who pays your paycheck every month. So I looked up my old boss and said, hey, boss, man, come see me. He was my old boss. I'd been self-employed now. And I go, I got a great deal on a building. This guy, when John Brooks died, he was probably worth $200 million, okay? And that was like 10 years ago they died. Just a fantastic entrepreneur. But anyhow, he came over and he looked at the building and he said, Tommy, you're right. He goes, this thing's worth a lot more than you're paying for it. And I go, oh, great, let's buy it and we'll split the money. And he goes, well, I don't want a partner. And I go, huh? Kind of looked at him silent, what? And he goes, how about I give you $20,000 and I just buy it by myself? And I'm like, well, that's a fantastic idea. And so that opened my eyes to assignments. But this should be an eye-opener to you right now that I didn't have money. I was looking for a partner. In the search for a partner, instead of me buying it and splitting the money with him, he just said, I just want the property to myself. So he gave me $20,000 to get out of the way. Now, maybe he made $70,000. I don't care what he made. I don't care. I got 20 for just being the bird dog that found it. And that's what you should do. If you don't have money at hand. Listen, you can't get hurt taking a profit. Just take a piece of the action. Okay, let's look here. And I'm going to keep reminding you guys to subscribe and smash the like button. Let's see. I bought my house 7 years ago, paid $160K, finished basement, $137. I rented the top for $1,200. That sounds pretty good for the numbers. I've rented the basement for $1,200. What's my next step? Keep it rented. Go buy another. Listen, I moved in. It was the fifth house that I bought that I moved into. None of them were up to my standards that I bought, but I flipped every one of them. I made $7,000, $12,000, $10,000. You know, I bought many little homes that I didn't want to live in. I bought them for the purposes of making money. I was living in a commercial building that my first purchase, anyways. But ultimately, I bought a beautiful home. You know, it's like it looked like the Brady Bunch house. It's just gorgeous, huge. You know, it's 25 years old. I paid $145,000 for it, and which even today seems like a lot when I think back on it then. But I was paying 9.125% interest. Okay, you guys can buy stuff for 1/3 of that, even less than 1/3, really almost 1/4 now. So let's see. Does being trilingual better for real estate? Yeah, well, it can't hurt. Listen, Carlos, become an agent. Become an agent. I mean, if you're an agent, you can, people need people to interpret for them. But, yeah, it can't hurt. Can't hurt. You can probably find foreign money that I can't because I couldn't talk to him. So you got opportunities there. Maxie, Mike, Tom has always been cool. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Just Risha, hey, Tom, do you mind going over how passing the note works when owner financing? Let me come back to that, Risha. I'm not 100% what you mean. Passing the note works. Okay, well, if you're talking about carrying a note, basically, if you're going to buy a property from me, and let's say I owe $10,000 on it first, $10,000 on it, and you're going to buy this property for $30,000, and you're going to give me $20,000. So maybe I take that $20,000, I pay off the first, put $10,000 in my pocket, and I'm going to let you make payments to me on that $10,000. So I create a note, and it's secured by trust deed, your property, and you pay me on that. And when you pay me off, I sign off on it, and then the property's yours. Okay. Now, you could resell the property, and unless I put an alienation clause, meaning a due on sale clause, or an all due and payable for, just kind of simple it for everybody, then you could sell that property to somebody else, and then they could assume that note that I created for you. Or maybe when I sold you my property, I could let you assume the first, and then I might even create a second. You could pay on the first and the second. And I got all kinds of stuff. But folks, get my book. If you can't afford to take it, take the mentorship. For God's sakes, take the mentorship if you can afford it. If you're 25 to 45, and you're not happy where you're at and you want to make some money, just dig in. Look at my credentials. Just do a little research on me. If you're thinking about doing it with somebody, look at them. There's probably somebody else besides me you can trust, but I don't know anybody more reasonable than me and more experienced than me. But take a look. Don't miss the boat. Get into real estate. It creates more millionaires than anything, and it's just the fastest way to just an abundant amount of money. But you gotta take a step. You gotta take a step. So let's keep looking. What else do you guys have? Have I ever done a lease option? Yes, I have. In fact, take a look at. I got a video. Harry, go buy my book. I'm pushing the book because I believe in the book. But go look at a video. It's called 1.7 million or something like that. $1.5 million subletting. Okay, subletting. And what I did is I got a building tied up, and I was renting it for like $3,000, and I was renting it. One of my entities was renting it for $3,000, and then they were re-renting it to another company for $20,000, making $17,000 a month. And the rents went up. Pretty soon it was $20,000 a month. That lasted for 7 years. I never owned the property, and I made over $1.5 million. There's just so many ways. Listen, you're going to find out. With real estate, there really are no rules. There's some basic rules, of course, but I'm just telling you, when it comes to financing and creativity and, how long an escrow is going to be and, certain things that, people need to do. Just remember, people want to sell you their property. When you make a deal, they want to sell it. Sometimes they'll bend over backwards to get it. Watch Eric's video. Eric But Eric's video, this is in the Zoom meeting. You guys haven't seen this yet, but Eric bought a property he thinks is worth $450,000. He bought it for $140,000, 100% financed. Okay, and here's the kicker: 0% interest. Every payment goes toward principal. And so I think he basically made it an 11-year note, $1,000 a month for 11 and a half years. That thing's paid for. But the beauty of that is he bought it for 1/3 of what it's worth. He can resell it to somebody else and get, they can assume that note. He's got the financing in place. They can give him $100,000 or $200,000 and assume his note. This kid's amazing. He's well on his way to becoming a millionaire. I think he's halfway there right now. I think he's halfway there, folks. And he's only did the course. I'm not saying that's the rule. That's an exception to the rule. But that's how your life can change and how quickly you can really make a ton of money. And this guy's doing it. But the video I just played, that guy, incredible. And he bought a trailer park that's cash flowing. He's got monthly income, and but he's thoughtful. He's taking his time and he's understanding. He's not just shooting and then aiming later. He's got a very careful approach, and that's what you can do. That's what you got to do. Okay. Can we get into the mentorship anytime? Yes, Garrett. You can actually go get in it right now, and it'll immediately release you that first series of information and courses. And here's the best thing about my deal. Yeah, it's video. Tons of fantastic questions, answers, all kinds of great deals, far more than what's in the book. But the beauty of it is that you can just put on the earbuds and you can listen to it. You don't have to watch me talk, right? You can just listen to this. You don't have to watch me wave my arms. Just listen. It's information. And so it's chapterized too. So you can go back if you thought, I didn't quite get that part on, owner financing or, financing of any kind or whatever the topic is. We cover so many things. But you can go back to that chapter and you can re-listen to that chapter and quickly find it. So let's keep going. Mario Livingston. Hello, Tom. Can you break up the down payment on a property into installments? Say 4 installments every 6 months. Hey, there's no rules. If you want to pay every month and a half, you could. That's what I'm trying to say, Mario. You can make those rules are the ones that I'm saying that you can create. If somebody wants to get paid every month and a half, no problem. You're going to get paid. Listen, I buy stuff 100% interest only, just interest only. I'll pay 5% interest only on $1 million. I'll pay on it for 10 years like that. I don't care. The value of and that's in a speculation deal, or maybe I buy something that's already making a ton of money and I'm doing it for the cash flow. So I don't flip everything. I keep about 120, 130,000 square feet of rentals all the time. Okay, and that number keeps going up gradually every year. It's more. Pretty soon, sometime it'll probably be 200,000 that I keep, and then I'm, rolling, 20 to 40,000 square feet in flips, and it's a wonderful life. It's what I like to do, and I can do this till I'm 90 years old. It doesn't take any energy to point, right? As long as I don't get dementia like my father and my mother's, then I'll be fine. Which that's the other thing, guys. Take advantage of this while I'm still competent, okay? Because listen, I know I don't look too bad on the outside, but I'm gray. I'm getting gray on the inside. I've been around a long time, but I'm still sharp. I still know all these things, and I'm putting them down so my kids can follow this as a roadmap. You can too, but take the mentorship if you can afford it. Get the book, for God's sakes. Get the book. That's so cheap. It's nothing. Let's keep going. Cross collateralization. Yeah, that's just borrowing money on one property to buy another. It's pretty simple. I know a guy that got. It's funny. It's a term. I remember the first time I heard the term cross collateralization. I had a guy that I dealt with. His name was Jamshed. He's actually a very wealthy guy. He's in Beverly Hills. I won't say his last name, but anyways, and it was pretty interesting. We'd done a lot of deals. I flipped him quite a few pieces of land, made money. He made money, and we actually had some good rapport. Well, I kind of felt like he burned me on something. He didn't really come through. We had a misunderstanding. And I said, "No, you owe me $10,000." He said, "No, I don't." I said, "Yeah, you do." And so we had another deal going. I was selling him a piece of property, And this is an Iranian guy, and the Iranian folks that I was dealing with at the time, they always had a tendency they'd close on the last day. In other words, they would not close a day early. They would close the day. If they had a 60-day, 90-day, 120-day, 180-day, they closed on the last day. So we had a deal that he had a 90-day escrow to buy something from me, okay? And during that 90 days, he pissed me off. And we got sideways, and I was like, and so I'm like, go to hell. And he's like, yeah, you go to hell. Okay, fine. Well, this 90-day escrow, what he didn't realize, we had 3 months. Okay, so he thought the 15th, he's going to close exactly 90 days later on the 15th. Well, guess what? One of those months had 31 days. So he needed to close on the 14th. Well, I thought, maybe he doesn't realize that. And so I waited, and then I got to the 14th, and that day ended. And then in the very first thing in the morning, I went to the title company, and I said, cancel the escrow, because I always have time is of the essence, okay? And I slammed that door shut on him. He could not buy the property. And he's going, what's up? This isn't fair. I have 90 days. I go, yeah, well, you took 91. You screwed up. And so I says, there's a way you can fix it. 20 grand, okay? And so he did. And so I made him pay for it. And then, since then, actually, the cross-collateralization, he actually got in some trouble. He was a wheeler dealer. But believe me, we all looked up to him because he was making money like crazy. He was a smart guy. But in the end, he got over. Again, the economy went down. He held too much. He was over-leveraged. Well, he had properties that he'd bought that it seemed like they had a lot of room, like a lot of, he had a lot of equity in. Well, then he borrowed money against him. And then he took that money and he bought more property. And then he sold those, and pretty soon people stopped making payments on them. Well, one of them that he cross-collateralized on, they weren't making the payment. So he couldn't make the payment on the property that he'd borrowed another $1 or $2 million on. So he was in foreclosure on a property, and he had a second on that property from somebody else. And now that guy was foreclosing, but it didn't matter. That the guy in the first position has all the power. In other words, you owe money to somebody, you borrow money against it in the form of a second. The guy in the second position, he's screwed. And that's what he did. That was the cross-collateralization. So anyways, long story short, he got in deep, and he owed me money. He owed me about $300,000. He couldn't make the payments anymore. And I said, look, I don't want to foreclose on you. I said, you can just deed it back to me. And he did. He deeded it back to me. And then 2 weeks later, he said, hey, Tom, I got somebody that'll pay cash for that property that I just gave you. I said, oh, okay, well, let's talk about it. And he said, man, I just want 20 grand. Maybe it was 40 grand. I can't remember. But I said, okay, let's do it. So he put me in touch with that buyer. I sold the property for cash that I just, basically, he deeded it to me in lieu of foreclosure. It wasn't a foreclosure because I said, just deed it to me. I won't foreclose on you. So he deeded it to me. Then he came back to me with a buyer. Sold it to the buyer, and I gave him 40 grand or 20 grand. I can't remember. I think it was 40. Anyways, everybody happy. You know what I mean? It was when things were going down, and, I was happy just to get $200,000 of my $300,000 back. Let's see. Nah, it's not a Ponzi scheme, but it's just risky. You got to be careful. People do it all the time. They borrow, they get too optimistic, and look, I was leveraged to my teeth. I lost one property. I gave a property back myself, and it was one that me and my best friend bought together, and we're still best friends, thank God. But we both lost money. But that's the only time. That's the only one I ever lost money on. Let's keep looking here. Okay, so no juice. He says he is currently in a townhome and have $90,000 in equity. Want to purchase a single family. Should I take the equity for the down payment and rent the townhome, or just sell it? Well, what's it worth? Okay, I mean, $90,000 equity isn't much if it's $1 million property, and you're probably not going to be able to borrow against it. I mean, if it's a $150,000 property, that's a little different. So numbers matter. Let's see. Carlos Gutierrez, there is this guy. He is a wholesaler. He's LG. I'm not sure what that means, is cash flow key, and supposedly he became a millionaire at 18. Took 8 months. Can that be true? He owns a Bentley. Well, I don't know. Listen, I mean, he's not mature enough to have a Bentley. Shit, I'm too young to have a Bentley. So I don't know. That sounds like a lot of puff and bullshit. Why on earth would a kid have a Bentley? Give me a break. I mean, it doesn't make any sense right off the bat. Okay. Oh, no juice. So you got 90,000 and 240. I mean, that's. I would. It's up to you. I don't know what it rents for. I would probably just flip it, take the cash and go buy something else. I mean, listen, here's the deal. In the beginning, you flip. You flip because you don't, when I started, I didn't have any money. So the first deal, I got $5,000. Well, of course, I reinvest and find something else. Then flipped it. Now I got $12,000. Flipped it. Now I got 18. And the cycle continues. Well, when I had about $60,000, $70,000, now I took $45,000 and I put it down on my little dream home, right? And that was this $145,000 home I told you about. Well, even then, I must have had a 50-year mortgage because my payment was only $1,000 or $1,100 a month, and I rented the downstairs to a buddy of mine for $550. So I had a $500 a month payment, after I got some rent, and I had this 3,500 or 3,600 square foot home, a kidney-shaped pool, deck. I was a young single guy. I was having a lot of fun. I was finally getting out there dating because I tell you, I worked my ass off so much I barely had time to date. I was just too dedicated to making money. And so I started relaxing and enjoying myself a little bit with that. And but that's what you can do. You gotta make enough money. You always have to have seed capital, right? Look at money as a tool. A lot of people, they get a chunk of money and they go pay off their cars. I mean, people suck the equity out of their home and pay off all the crap that they couldn't afford to pay cash for. It's the worst thing you can do. You're defeating yourself. You're defeating yourself. Don't buy junk. Buy stuff that makes money. Only buy things that produce an income, okay? I mean, obviously, you got to have a car. You got to have a decent car to get to point A to point B. You got to, if you have kids and stuff, you got a responsibility to be in a decent neighborhood so that they're getting educated and, not getting beat up on the way home and, all that sort of thing. But put money away, save. So I can tell you, I got a fantastic gal that works for me. She's worked for me over 20 years. I mean, hard worker. She does a bunch of the cleaning for my properties for the last 20 years. That's a separate business. She's also an employee for me at another company that I own. And I mean, she has done some amazing things. I mean, I remember they bought their house cash. I remember they helped their kids. And I mean, they don't waste money. They cook, they eat at, brown bag it or cook at the office. They don't spend $10 on lunch or $15 on lunch. Look, I spend a couple grand a month on wine, okay, but I can afford that now. But if I had that habit when I was younger, I'd have never made any money. So let's see. Oh, you know what? I was going to take calls, but I don't have my phone dialed into the Bluetooth. Sorry about that. Okay, Ram Madani, is a mortgage better than cash, or does it depend on this? Listen, it's all numbers. Look, I mean, a mortgage is great. Okay, if somebody will loan you the money to buy something, that's a great deal. That's great. Because if they loan you 50, even though you have 50, that means you can take that 50 and go buy something else. Listen, I do it all the time. I have a bunch of properties that cash flow, that make money, rentals, right? And when I have cash, I use as little of it as I have to buy something. Now, when it comes to houses, I pay cash for houses, but that's because I'm going to flip them. I'm going to turn it and I'm going to get my money back. I don't love houses for really long term. I mean, I've held some for long term and thinking that my kids would move into them, that sort of thing. But, and I've made millions and millions of dollars on houses and apartments and everything. But again, it's just math, and you'll find in your area, which is interesting, Ron, the gentleman that you see, I can't even get my hand in front of it. But anyhow, then the right-hand corner, the right-hand corner where it says testimonial, I got my hand on the side of my head. He's in an area where he's been buying properties that just cash flow. In other words, he could pay $70,000 for something that brings in $1,200 a month. Okay, and man, he's doing it. And not only that, he buys them. They cash flow so well. When he goes to the bank is more than happy to give him a little praise it at $150,000, at least in some of these cases, and they'll give him $100,000 loan that pays off the 70 that he borrowed to buy it, and puts 30. So he puts 30 in his pocket, and he's got a bunch of equity, and he's got every time he does that, it's like another $500-600 a month, and he can do it over and over and over again. And that's what I did with land, and I've done it with other rentals. So everybody's got that opportunity. You just the whole point of this video in the beginning, right, is. It was Eric. I want to share with Eric, but what Eric was saying was about you don't know who to trust, okay? So it's incumbent on you to look at who you're talking to. Look at who is telling you they know what they're doing, okay? I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 40 years. I walk you through. Look at all my videos. All kinds of buildings, houses, all this stuff that I've done. It's even weird to me because you guys, I've seen some videos and I go bashing Grant Cardone or some other fake guru or point out the flaws. And, some of these guys just got no business teaching people how to make money because they don't know how to make money. They know how to make money, but what they're sharing is not quality stuff. And I've got confidence in that because I know myself. I know what I do. But you can look at it and you can discern bullshit from reality, and that's what you have to do. If you don't do that, you're going to set yourself up for failure, okay? And the guys that watch me I've been the most successful, I can see who it's guys between 25 and 45 or 25 to 55, right? But man, it's listen, you can make so much money in such a short amount of time, even if you're a real late starter, right? 60 years old. You start doing the right things, make $100,000. Make $200,000. Maybe you make another $500,000 before you're 70. Okay, man, that's a lot of money. If you're already fixed income and things are shy, that'll make a world of difference. Okay, for the rest of your life. You'll see. I want people to have my problems, which I'm angry when I don't make as much as I wanted to. That's a good problem to have. But I'm lucky. I write checks for college tuition. I don't finance any of that stuff. Pay cash for cars. All that stuff is small stuff, and that's what I want for you. I would love for you to feel that, and that's nice. I see these guys that have taken my course, and that was gratifying to me that it can be taught. I wouldn't share any of this stuff when I was younger. My world was my town. I couldn't share this because I'd be creating competition in my own town for myself. That's why I didn't share any of this stuff. Well, now it's on the web. Now I share it all the way around the world. I got people in Puerto Rico and Australia, in the UK that take my course, take my mentorship, buy my books, because it's all relative to a free market system. You can make money anywhere. You just got to do it. And here's a reminder to hit that subscribe button and hit the like. But how long we've been on here? Somebody tell me. I can't even tell. I don't have the numbers to see at the moment. Somebody tell me how long we've been on, if you don't mind. Okay, Ram. Would be getting a high-paying job be good at first? Okay, Ram, how old are you? Just curious. Listen, getting a high-paying job is always good. Okay, obviously. But the bottom line is there's no better paying job than buying and selling anything. Real estate sales is the highest paid. Oh, thanks, Carlos. Is the highest paid profession is sales. It's just easy, and it's there for everybody. Hey, Rom, 16. So look, you're 16 years old. You're smart enough to think about where you're going in life, and it's smart. Listen, I was broke when I was a kid. I came from we had welfare. My parents got divorced, got powdered milk and free cheese and a 10-cent lunch at school and shitty clothes. Okay, I've been through all the pains of living in a rough neighborhood, and anyways, it's interesting. I wouldn't trade it, but there's some of that stuff I could have avoided. But anyways, so look, if you look, I'm going to cut it short. Get my book. Listen. Spend $10, okay? Even you, Rom, go borrow $10 from your folks, or have them order the book for you. Listen, get started now, okay? I make peanuts. A book is nothing, okay? book is nothing. It's as cheap as I can get information into your hand. Now, the mentorship, I make some money on the mentorship, but I should make it. I've a lot of people have made a lot of money already off my mentorship. But that mentorship, even if you don't put it to work right away, and I got lots of people that still haven't quite made money yet, but they know they're not going to make a mistake. They're not going to get screwed, okay? That alone is worth the price of the mentorship. When you do make your decisions, you're going to make the best decisions. So anyways, let's take a look here real quick. All right. There, good. Hey, Risha, thanks for coming in. Let's see, Beckley Crackers. Do you have plans to release content on sales of things other than real estate land, like your video, intro, name of the channel, flip anything? And plans to release content. I already have. So she's asking about things, non-real estate, right? Non-real estate. Yeah, look, I did it for the hell of it. Look up. I did a sonography machine. I think I paid $200. I sold it for $3,000. There's a video on that. Scissor lift were $10,000. I bought for $4,000. I have a video on that. Look up scissor lift. There's oak roll top desk. That's a cool one. So look at the oak roll top desk I bought for $200. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I looked it up while I was standing there. They sell for $4,200. So I bought that roll top desk for $200. I sold it for, I can't remember if I sold it for $800 or $1,000. And I did that really just as an exercise to show you guys you can flip anything. And go get my free app, Flip Anything. It's free, 100% free. It's only for iPhone at this point. I don't know what happened to the other one. And Tom G, glad you're enjoying the book. And also, you're already in the course too, Tom, aren't you? I think you're in the mentorship too. I thought you were. But look, thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps. And if you get a chance, go in and ask any questions you want under the video. You know, this is the chat stuff doesn't show, but go ask any question you want. I'll come back to it. If you want to come back and talk to somebody, you know, I was going to show you guys some other stuff. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know. Here's a little contract here. I'll show you real quick if I can. Oh, brother. Okay, there you go. So look, here's look at this here. This is a property. I don't know why I use this. This is a property that I bought this property. Look at this. I'm selling this right now for $1,725,000. Okay, $1,725,000. I paid $220,000, maybe $240,000. I either paid $220,000 or $240,000. I think I got that number in my head from talking about Jamsheed, but I know it was like $240,000. I think it was $240,000 I paid for this. And now look at this. Now I've held this thing for like 15 years, but I've made $50,000 to $90,000 a year for all these years. It's paid for itself in a few years from the very beginning. This is okay. This is where you want to get to someday, okay? But you don't have to. The majority of my deals are much smaller than this. They're, 100, 200, 300,000, 50,000 sell for 90,000. This is the stuff you got to do, folks. You know what? Again, all I can do is demonstrate to you and do my best to articulate to you, to show you that it is possible. I don't know what else I can do. Other than to plead with you to buy a $10 book and get excited and start thinking about these things. Because if you don't, life goes by quick. Listen, I get a coast. I can stop. I'm doing this. Okay, this doesn't even make any real money for me particularly, but I mean, because it doesn't stop me from doing what I do best, which is real estate. And I love sharing this stuff. And I like seeing guys like Eric and Ron and anybody to make money. And you young guys that are 15, 16-year-old, do it. Just do it. Get into it. Start thinking about it. And you're never too late. Just get going. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and take care.